hello.
Jai Hind everyone, welcome back to the Patriotic IS Gorakhpur. We will start our daily current affairs classes now. Before we start our classes, we have announcement that we are going to start a new batch for Hindi medium from 12th of May. The timing for the classes will be 8th in the morning, 8 a.m. in the morning, and 4 in the evening, 4 p.m. That will be in evening. So these are the classes that we are going to start. Anyone who are residing in Purvanchal or the region around the Gorakhpur, they can join the classes. The fee for this course will be minimum. So it could be affordable for anyone with the any level of the income. So this is all about from this foundation course. Now we will start our classes. The first topic we are going to take is from the GS paper 1. The first topic that has been covered from the Hindu is the 8 years on the never again is sounding hollow. So this is talking about the 80 वर्ष बाद फिर कभी नहीं की बात खोखली लगने लगी है. This is mainly with respect to the World War II. So World War II now it is being celebrated into the Europe and Russia. So here you will see that the Russia celebrate this victory day on the 9th of May, and on the 8th of May it is the Europe that celebrate it the victory into in Europe day. Okay. So this World War II that was ended with the vow to never again, means we will not fight again because of the destruction that was faced during World War II. That was the main reason, and whole the Europe resolved to prevent another such war. They resolved that if there will be no such war in the future, and here you will see that. Okay. Further, this article is talking about the where it was the surrender agreement that was executed into Rhine, and by the Europe it was the Reims, and by Russia it was in Berlin. So here it is not given the Berlin, but it was the Berlin, and it was on the 9th of May. So please remember these two facts. Russia observed this as the victory day. Mainly it is talking about the Stalin was not that much trustful or the faithful of the European power. And here you will see that the mainly he was not trustful or the faithful on the Europe, because when the German attacked on the Russia in 1941, so the Western power, mainly the Western European like the France, UK and US, they delayed opening of the second front, because Russia expected that if there will be the second front, for example, if there is the war on this front, just take the example of the India and Pakistan. If Pakistan is attacking on this front, and if we will start opening this front, so Pakistan have to move a force here, and so that here it will be a bit weakened. So same thing that Russia wanted from the UK, France, that they should start a new front, because Germany was attacking from the Poland side. So if the German was being attacked from the Atlantic Ocean side, so it could have been reduced the strength of the Germany on the Russian border. Here, but the question is that why the Europe, France, UK and US were not trustful of the Russia, because there was one agreement, and the name of the agreement between the Germany and Russia before the World War, and before entering of the Russia into the World War, the name of that was the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, and this was signed on August 1939. Here you will see the Nazi Germany and USSR, they signed this pact, and they divided the Poland as well as the Eastern Europe between them. So this is the reason that UK, US and France was not trustful of the Russia as well. At that time it was the USSR. So you should remember what was the main thing. The World War II, when it was started in 1939, and it was the Nazi Germany under the Hitler leadership. They attacked the Poland when the World War II started. Before that, there was the agreement between the Russia, USSR and the Nazi Germany that they will divide the Poland and the Eastern Europe between them. Okay. So this is the thing that created the suspicion between the UK, uh, France and US against the USSR and Stalin leadership. Here it is given that the Germany invaded the Poland and the West Soviet army moved to the east 16 days later. The most of the destruction at the initial phase, it was faced by the Poland. 60% of the Poland, 20% of the population was lost during the initial war. Red Army, what is the Red Army? Red Army also moved into the Baltic states and the Finland. Red Army, it was the army of the Russian. Russian army is known as the Red Army. So here you will see that how there was the land capturing that was going from the Germany and USSR, and this created the suspicion between the US, UK and France against the USSR. America supported Western Europe renewal just after the World War II. Absolute destruction was there, and there was need for the reconstruction of the Europe. Otherwise, it could have came under the ideology of communist, and that's why US intervened, and US provided the support to the European countries. It was by the Marshall Plan. And Marshall Plan, it was, and also created the NATO, so that the prosperity and the security of the Europe can be provided. NATO was the collective defense system. Now it is also in the news. This is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Okay. So these were the member countries of the Europe, and also US and the Canada have the membership. And here the Marshall Plan, it was to reconstruction, mainly the infrastructure for the capitalist economy. So these were the main thing. You will see that at the initial stage there were the 17 southern and the western European state, and in the closure economy and the political union, they were provided by the American support under the Marshall Plan. So you have to remember this Marshall Plan. Why this Marshall Plan was brought? This was to restructuring and reconstruction of the Europe, and it was mainly for the 17 southern and western European countries, because the eastern European countries, they came under the USSR. You will see that the Germans Bundestag. What is mean by the Bundestag? Bundestag means a Bundestag. It is the like the in India, it is the parliament. The legislative body of the Germany is known as the Bundestag. Okay, so please remember this. Ukraine and the reluctance of a formation of the NATO, Article 15 called the panic in Europe. All this thing is associated with the how the membership and how the funding of the NATO is done. Now all this thing is in the question and the matter of the dispute between the Europe and US. Here it is given that the European Union has proposed defense fund. Now recently we have seen that the US is not ready for the funding to the NATO in the disproportionate manner. The US is asking under the Donald Trump that each of the European countries should at least contribute 2% of their GDP to the NATO. So this is a large amount because previously most of the contribution for the NATO was coming from the US, and only major countries of the Europe such as the France, Germany and UK, they were paying for the NATO. Now here you will see that due to the threat from the US exit from the NATO, they have started European Union has proposed defense fund, relaxed defense spending rules and launch its first defense strategy in the context of the demand from the Donald Trump. So please remember all these things. Next important news that is coming from the remembering the war, reminiscing forgotten Indians. So here you will see that the remembering the war, reminiscing forgotten Indians. This is talking about the how during the World War II there was a contribution from the Indian side. One of the example that is given is from the Kolachala Sitaramaya. He was a chemist and he was coming from the very humble background. Kolachala Sitaramaya, he was from the very poor background and he was from the very humble background. He had not money even to go for the pursuing his study into the Europe. However, he has the resolution he wanted to go to for the study and he wanted to go to US and UK. So here first he went to the UK and he didn't have the money and that's why he worked as the coal stokers in the steamship. So he has to work to pay the journey, the fare of the journey. And there was the Great Depression when he reached US. In the Great Depression, during this time, there was there was very much shocking condition into the US. The job was not there, capitalist system was failed, and the most of the people, even a large scale unemployment was prevailing in the United States. In that condition, Sitaramaya reached the US and he pursued his study. Later, he shifted to the USSR and here he start working as the petrochemical research. Okay. So here he started and he was the standing between the tyranny of the fascism and the homeland India during the wartime, World War II. He participated as the volunteers in the Soviet front lines. However, the army of the USSR, they recognized that the Sitaramaya has so much talent and he should not be sent to the front line. His mind can be used. So here there was a famous comment, one of the officers from the USSR, he commented that the Sitaramaya's brain was needed as the weapon, not as a target. So here you will see that he asked him to develop and mainly at that particular time USSR was facing the technological issue in their tank. At that particular time, you must be knowing that in USSR, the temperature is very low because the Russia and USSR is very close to the polar side. So at that time, it was asked to the Sitaramaya that please develop and do research on the fuel system of the tank. And he worked on the fuel system and he developed the kerosene based fuel and specialized lubricants for the Soviet tanks and it was successful. And after that we have seen that there was the success of the Russian army against the Nazi German. Here you will see that this innovation improved the manu maneuverability and the performance of the Soviet tanks and the sub-zero condition, the tanks was able to work into the sub-zero condition. What is the sub-zero condition? The temperature below the 0 degree centigrade, that is known as the sub-zero condition. RCC, yeah, Germany was the strongest at that time. Between whom it allied? Between whom it allied? What do you want? What you want to ask by the whom it allied? Assis, please be a bit clear in your query. What do you mean by the between whom it allied? So please reframe your query again and send it again. I will reply your query. Okay. So here you will see that they were working on the sub-zero condition, and it was due to the Sita Ramaya, his contribution into the improvement into the technology. So these were the contributions from the Indian side. The other side was the other pilot. The name of that pilot was Idris. So Idris, he was working as the under the Royal Indian Air Force in 1941, and he was coming from the aristocratic family of the Yemeni descent of the Hyderabad. So already he has so many plurality in his descent, and he was working in the Royal Indian Air Force when the World War II was occurring. At that particular time, he was associated with the Indian pilots, and he was sent to the northwestern frontier. Okay, so here he worked in a very harsh condition, and here you will see that by 1944, German Luftwaffe had lost control of the European skies, and at that particular time, Idris was deployed to the Burma against the Japanese army, and he was serving the Indian army. So please remember this thing. And he, he was he was the pilot of Hawker Hurricanes aircraft. Okay, where he flew Hawker Hurricanes aircraft against the Japanese army. So these were the contribution again from the Indian side. And further, Sitaramaya was honored in the Soviet Union. His research laid the foundation of the chematology and tribochemistry. So please remember, these two branches of chemical engineering that was coming from his research. And he also researched on the plasma. What are the plasma? Plasma are the large charged particle, and they have the very high energy and the heat energy. So these are the plasma. Plasma are known as the fourth state of the matter, and they are used into the control nuclear fusion. Whenever there is the fusion reaction and we have to reduce the chain reaction of the fusion, we use the plasma. So this is very much this contributed the development of the nuclear reactors technology in the future. Okay, so these are the contributors. This article is talking about there are so many heroes of World War II, and this is not the just victory of the Europe or the Russia. This is a victory of across the world. The World War II, in the World War II, not only the Europe and the Russian army were fighting or the German army were fighting. It was the European, many of the European countries, many of the African countries, many of the Asian countries, many of the South American countries, they also participated in the World War II. And the two examples of the Idris Latif and the Sitaramaya are given here. Okay, here you will see that after the division of India and Pakistan in the two countries, Idris chose to remain in India, and he also became the chief of the Indian Air Force. So he said that when his brother, he chose to go to Pakistan, Idris chose to remain in India. So nothing to do with the religion. Nations comes from your emotions, your associations, and this is the example of the unity in diversity in India, how the Indian diversity is respected, that despite all this thing, Idris choose to remain in India, and he questioned his own brother that what does religion have to do with the nationality. So here you will see that the Idris served movement. Next news that we are going to take from the GS paper 2, the first news we are taking from the Robert Prevost, the first American Pope, will take the name Leo XIV. So Pope Francis, the death of the Pope Francis brought the question that who will be the next Pope of the Vatican City or the Catholic Church of Europe. So here you will see that they have announced the name Robert Provesto. This is important for the PCS examination. They can ask, and this is the first time that a person from the United Nations has been chosen as the Pope of the Vatican City. And this, in the last 2000 years, there was most of the Pope, they were coming from the Europe. There were some of the exceptions. One of the exceptions was the previous Pope Francis, and he was from the Southern America. But now we have seen that the person from the that is being chosen as the Pope, he is from the Northern America and from the US. So please remember this. Second thing you have to remember that he has served most of the time, despite his citizenship was his origin we can trace from the United States. He born in United States, but he served most of the time into the Southern America, and it was the Peru where he was serving. So he was very close to the present the previous Pope Francis. So here, when he started, when there is the declaration of the Pope, it is the convention by the Vatican City that they come up with the white smoke. So white smoke was released with his declaration of the Pope, and here you will see that he had taken the name Leo. So previous people who have taken, previous popes who taken the name Leo, it was last time into the 1801. So I think the timing is given. Here it is given that the white smoke appeared on the second day of the conclave when they declared that who will be the Pope. And here further you will see that previously it was 1878 to 1903. Leo XIII was taking the name, and now after that that much time, now it is the 14th Leo. So please remember all this thing. He came up with the statement that the peace will be with you, and emphasizes a message of the peace dialogue and the missionary evangelization. So please remember all these things. Most important thing that you should remember that where he belongs, his origin is coming from the United States, and he was serving as the Archbishop into the Peru. So his origin is coming from the United States, but he was serving into the South America. Again, you will see that the previous Pope was from the South America, and it was from the Argentina. So you will see that how the thing is now coming out of the Europe. The previously it was the first time the Pope Francis, he was outside Europe. So one record. The second record is the present Pope Robert Prevost. He is from the US. So these are the things you should remember for the UPSC. Next news that is coming from the disqualification of Janardhana Reddy from the Karnataka Assembly. So you should know that what are the provision for the disqualification in our constitution. So here you will see that for the parliament and for the state legislature. So if you will go through the parliament, it start with the article 101 where the disqualification ground has been mentioned. And the same ground will be for the state legislature as well. The first thing for the disqualification that no person can be member of the both house of the parliament at the same time. Same is applicable for the state legislature as well. If there is the two houses in the state legislature, no person can be member of the both house despite they get elected for the both houses. They will have to choose one house and they have to resign other house, otherwise there will be the automatic disqualification. Beside that, you will see that if there is the absentees from the member for the 60 days, so they will be disqualified if they are continuously absent from the taking the sessions or the participating in the sessions of the state legislature for the 60 days. However, this 60 day, we do not count the days where there is the prorogued or the adjournment of the house for the more than 4 days, not less than 4 days. If it is 4 or less than 4 days, it will be count into the 60 days. Simple thing. The disqualification ground, other disqualification ground for a MLA or the MP is that they are not attending the house for the consecutive 60 days. And in this 60 days, we have we should exclude those days where the house is prorogued or the adjourned for the 4 or more than 4 days. Here it is clear. The second ground for the disqualification, here it is given in 102, Article 102, and here it is the first thing is that if the person is holding the office of profit. So office of the profit has been not clearly defined into the constitution. However, we refer the parliamentary legislature of the UK that the same thing, the same convention, whatever they follow for the profit of office, we also follow for the profit of office of profit. Here you will see that the other ground that if the person is unsound mind or the undischarged insolvent, unsound mind means he is not able to take the decisions in a good manner. He do not have the capacity to take the decision. That's why he will be disqualified again. Undischarged insolvent means he had declared as that he do not have the money to pay for the loans he has taken or the any of the debt he has taken, and if it is done by the court, then it will be declared as the undischarged insolvent. Here you will see that if there is any of the disqualification that is coming from any of the parliamentary law, again that will be ground for the disqualification for a member. So here you will see that for this we have the Representation of People Act, and there are different sections in that act for the disqualification of the people. The news that is coming from today, this Janardhana Reddy, this is coming from this area, that if there is the parliament has made any of the law and that clearly define the ground for the disqualification, there will be the disqualification. And in this case, if there is any person who is convicted for the 2 or the more years or some of the heinous cases defined by the parliament, they will be disqualified. And what will be the duration of disqualification? The conviction period. For example, if any person is convicted for the 4 years, so it will be 4 years and plus 6 years. The conviction date and plus the 6 years, for the 6 years, he will be not allowed for be the member of any house of the parliament or the state legislative assembly. So this thing, I hope this is clear to everyone. If you have any issue, please ask me. If you have any doubt, please ask me. Ashish, please reframe your doubt between whom it allied. Allied forces include US, UK, France, and Russia. Russia was allied with these Western these countries, UK, US, France, and other allied group. Okay. So these are the nations who are known as the allied nations in the World War. I hope this is clear to everyone that this disqualification effect from the date when there will be the verdict, and it will be continue for the 6 years after his release. So this is the thing you should remember: 6 years plus his conviction years, number of the years he is convicted. So be clear about this. There is always confusion that whether it is just for the 6 years after the conviction or the conviction period plus 6 years. So you should be clear, this is the conviction period plus 6 years. Next important news that we are going to take is the BJP ludicrous remarks not worth, BJP MP's ludicrous remarks not worth contempt action. So here you will see that the court has the power, and this power is coming from the article. Please let me know what article. Any one of you know the article that provide the power to the Supreme Court for the take contempt decisions and take the contempt proceeding. This is from the Article 129. This talk about the contempt for itself. If there is any action of the member of parliament or any person who is going to uh, scandalized the role of court, particularly High Court and the Supreme Court, or they are creating obstruction in the delivery of the justice. These are the steps that is known as the contempt of the court. So here the court could have taken the decision to bring this act of the MP under the contempt of the court, but they have ignored it. They think that such type of the criticism, there is no issue, but this is the foolish type of the thing. Okay. Next news that we are going to take is the just caste census, not a political issue to the BJP, but part of the philosophy of the social justice. So here our Minister of Education, he has clarified that what is the stand of the BJP, how they are going to take the decision for the caste census. They are talking about we talk about the samrasta. Samrasta means harmony between the different category. And here you will see that he has clarified that how the BJP is bringing the social justice. He has brought that under Atal Bihari Vajpayee, we brought the Ministry of Tribal Affairs so that we will have the proper welfare actions and the schemes and the decision for the tribal people, and it came into the 1999. So you can use this point that what the government has done for the welfare measure of the tribal people. One of the measures was the Ministry of Tribal Affairs that was created in 1999. Before that, it was the Ministry of Social Justice that was taking care of the tribal affairs. Okay, so here you will see that this Ministry of Tribal Affairs, this was not from the very origin of the Indian state or the government. It was created in 1999. So one of the points you should remember. Beside that, here you will see that what was the stand of the RSS. He has described that in 1980s, one of the leader of the RSS, Bala Saheb Devdas, he said that there should be the roti beti behwar, and in this he was talking about the intercaste meal and the marriages. So here it is clearing that the stand of RSS on the intercaste marriage, they wanted there could be the chances, there is they promote the roti beti vyavahar, and in this intercaste meals means they can sit each with each other, they can meals, and they will have also the marriage alliance with each other. Here you have you will see that the Sachar Committee report is mentioned. So Sachar Committee report committee was formed to take the decision on condition of the Muslims. And such a committee report brought the condition of the Muslim was worse than the SCs and STs. And here there was the report for the Okay, so here you will see that the Sachar Committee report defined West Bengal and the Congress-led state as the most deficient in the Muslim welfare measure. So you should remember Sachar Committee, committee report or the Sachar Commission reports associated with the welfare measure of the Muslims. Here already we have discussed that what is the stand of the BJP. BJP has also brought the Prime Minister, our President Prime Minister Modi ji is also from the OBC category. So it is talking about it was BJP who brought the OBC as the Prime Minister. So please remember all these things. Next news that is talking about if Rohingyas are the foreigners in the India, they will be dealt with as per the laws Supreme Court ka. This is the stand of the Supreme Court that if these Rohingyas, so I think most of you know about the Rohingyas. Rohingyas are the immigrants and they were facing the persecution into the Myanmar. In the Rakhine region of the Myanmar, these Rohingyas belong from this region. So please open map and locate the Rakhine state. So please open the map of Asia, and in Asia you have to go into the Myanmar. In Myanmar, please open the Rakhine state, and in the Rakhine state you will find this is the area from where these Rohingyas have migrated. So please open. Where is Myanmar? Let me open. All of you please open and locate the Rohingyas. I hope there could be the map of Burma. It must be there. Okay, here it is. I find that. Okay, I hope each of you have opened this map. And Rakhine state, this is the Rakhine state. This is also famous for the Sitwe. This port is very much disputed between the China and India. Here you will see that this port is being used by the China as the, but it is the what that China want to encircle India through the port and the military bases. So these Rohingyas belong from this area. Many of them have facing the persecution from the local Buddhist, and they have flew to the Bangladesh, and some of them have also immigrated to India, but they do not have the documents. Now there is the dispute. One stand is talking about that these Rohingyas should be arrested and they should be deported to the Burma itself. The other group, there are many of the human rights activists, they are talking that if we are sending these Rohingyas return back to the Myanmar, they could be persecuted, and this could be a type of genocide. So here you will see that the India is not member of the Refugee Convention of the UN. So India have the chances, India has the opportunity to deal with these refugees, Rohingyas, by their own law. And we have the Foreigners Act that could be that is used to deal with the refugees. Here you will see that the one of the UN body that take the welfare measures for the refugees. The name of that body is the United Nations High Commissioner for the Refugees. So please remember this body, this United Nations High Commissioner for the refugee, and they had constitutional protection against the deportation to the Myanmar. So one of the point is that we should not send them. Beside that, one more point is that if the Rohingyas have the right to life under Article 21 and they have right to equality under Article 14, however, the court is of the view they do not have the right to settlement or the residence, because this Article 19 is only for the citizens, not for the any people. For Article 14 and Article 21, this is for the any people, or whether it is citizen of India or the non-citizen of India, that doesn't matter. But if you are talking about the settlement in India, this is only for the citizens, not for the foreigners. That is the stand of the court. However, there is the opposition on the ground that the India is part of the Genocide Convention, and if you will be sending these Rohingyas to the Myanmar, there are the chances that there will be the genocide, and to adhere with this genocide convention, for that India is the party of this genocide convention. India should not deport these Rohingyas to the Myanmar. This is the two groups and their stand. I hope this is clear to the everyone. Next news that we are going to talk is the CGI forwards panel inquiry report on Justice Verma to President PM. So already we know that there was the huge noise and the cry on the issue of a large sack of the currency notes that was found in house of the a judge of the Delhi High Court. After that, there was so much allegation on the judiciary on the ground of the corruption and their accountability. There was the initial inquiry, the first inquiry against the judge. The name of that judge is the Justice Yaswant Verma. And here you will see that the first inquiry, it was started by the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court. He found that yes, there is need for the deeper investigation. So there was the constitution of the 3 judges committee, and 3 judges were from the different high courts. Again, these committees submitted the report to the Chief Justice of India, and the Chief Justice of India has forwarded this report to the President and the Government of India. So this is the process of the in-house investigation in the case of any misbehavior or any of the tendency, any of the allegation is found just like the corruption allegation. So here, if the Chief Justice of India found that there is a sufficient ground that we can forward this to the President of India or the Government of India, he can forward. And now we have found that here it is found that the Chief Justice of India has found that there is a sufficient ground. On that, there is the condition for the removal of this High Court judge, and the removal can be done on the two ground: misbehavior or the incapacity. So here it is found that it is the misbehavior on the ground, and it will be now there is the initiation of the removal process. So you should know that what are the ground, what are the constitutional provision for the removal process. For the High Court, it is the Article 217. I hope this is given here. Article 217 provide for the ground of the removal of the judges of High Court, I think. Okay, so here it is given that the Article 217. This provide the ground for the removal. So what are the ground? Anyone from the online? Please reply. What is the ground for the removal of the judges of High Court and the Supreme Court? There is for both High Court judges and the Supreme Court judges, the ground is same. The first is that they should be found as the incapacity or the misbehavior. After that, there will be the initiation of a query, and this will be done by the Judges Inquiry Act of 1968, and by that we will start the inquiry, and in inquiry we will have the committee of the 3 members, and the one that is coming from the Supreme Court judge, and one should be the Chief Justice of the High Court. And here you will see that these 3-member body, they will go for the investigation. They will provide the report to the each houses, and each of the house have to pass the resolution by the special majority. And this special majority is the majority of total membership and the 2/3 of the members present and voting. So I hope this is clear that what is the special majority. So the process, you should remember that it will start with the 3-member committee. They will start inquiry, and after inquiry they will give the report to the each houses. Each house will have to pass the resolution with the special majority, and after that it is sent to the president, and president remove the judge. This is the process. This is 124 for the Supreme Court and 217 for the High Court. Next news is from the Sri Lanka. No country will be allowed to use Sri Lankan territory against the another. So here it is in the context of the escalation between the India and Pakistan. Initially, it was the Sri Lanka who sympathized with the attack in India, and he said that the Sri Lanka will be with the India to get the justice against the terror attack. But now the Sri Lankan stand is that we don't want to escalation, and we will not provide our terror to attack any of the country. This is the main ground that is from the Sri Lanka. Next news, that is from the again Supreme Court and the High Court. Supreme Court urges center to fill the vacancies of High Court judges and expeditiously. Expeditiously. Okay. So here the main issue with the Supreme Court and the High Court is the vacancies. Mainly with the High Court, it is the vacancies of the seat that create the lot of backlog and pendency. You will see that the one of the example, just what is the capacity of the Allahabad High Court and how much judges are there. So you will see that the capacity of the Allahabad High Court is 160. 160, and here the only 79 judges are there. So you can imagine that it is the less than half of the capacity of the High Court total vacancies that is present, and you can imagine what the population of the Uttar Pradesh and the number of the cases that go into the Uttar Pradesh, and how this creates the lot of backlog and the delay in the justice. Next news, claims of the government targeting Neelam Jhelum project. So Neelam Jhelum project, this is associated with the Pakistan, and this is on the Jhelum river. So please don't confuse that this Neelam Jhelum project that is associated with the India, because the name Neelam many a times confuse you. This is from the Indian side, but this is the project from the Pakistani side, and mainly it is accusation that the India is targeting this project. This is the Pakistan who is accusing. India has denied this. So I hope this is clear to the you. The childbirth. Okay. So this ratio we bring from the, if there is the 1 lakh of the mother who is giving childbirth, and if there is the number of the mother who die, so this will be the ratio of the, that will be representing MMR, maternal mortality ratio. So now for the whole of the India, this is now it is 93. So it is lower than the 100. So it has been the improvement, and this is counted on the every 1 lakh of the childbirth by the mother. So this is 93. So this shows that the improvement in the health facility and the childbirth delivery and the different schemes that government is running for the welfare of the lactating mothers and the pregnant mothers. So these are the things that is being provided. Here you will see that the performance of the different state, even many of the state who are lacking, Madhya Pradesh it is 175, Assam, Uttar Pradesh, our Uttar Pradesh, this always remain on the top, and even there must be the Bihar as well. Where is the Bihar? In the Bihar, I think it should be there. Okay, so these are the states where the performance has been given here. I hope this is clear to everyone. Here I will conclude my session. Thank you for joining the session. All the best. Jai Hind.